and dangerous. 'Cause you know I can make you famous. All your hands are you and dangerous.
Well, so let's put it this way, right? So if I'm watching, if I'm DJing for people and they're breaking, I'm watching people break, and I'm watching the dance evolve and advance and become more athletic and more incredible and quicker and more creative. And people will argue this, whatever. But I'm saying whether you like everything that's happening in the b-boy scene, it's advancing. That's one thing we can all agree on. It's advancing. The way we were breaking in 1994, it's nothing like the way people are breaking now, because there's just so much more in the pot than there used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used to be able to name all the breaking moves. There's no fucking way I can do that now. There's so many.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, how is this dance going to evolve and the music doesn't? And how can you let the dance evolve and let the music fall behind? The classics are the classics and they'll never go away. But just because you need to come up with something new doesn't mean you throw away the old stuff.
Yeah.
It just means you need to come up with something new to put in the refrigerator next to the old stuff, next to the great stuff. So it's like Just Begun never gets old to me, ever. I could listen to that song and I get the exact same reaction every time I hear it. I get excited. I love it. I want to break. That's all I care about. But how do you make a song right now that can sit next to that song? You know, not to replace it, but can sit next to that song. That song represents a time in the 70s, possibly throughout the 80s, certain parts of the 90s. How can you make a song that can occupy the space and time right now and still sit on the same shelf with that song? And that's the way that I always look at it. When you're making new music, you're just trying to make new music to get people excited, to get people inspired, to represent what's happening right now. Like when I'm making new music, I'm not thinking about everything that I have seen. I'm thinking about what I'm seeing right now. I'm thinking about how people are breaking right now. And I'm like, okay, this is how people are breaking right now. What can I do that sounds like that? So that way, me and these dancers can meet in the middle and be like, hey, I see you. And they're like, hey, I hear you. And then when we have that conversation and we're able to create that together, to me, that's where magic happens. You know what I mean? So it's like when a producer makes incredible music and an MC writes incredible rhymes and they meet each other and they both understand what each other's doing, that's when you get incredible music. It's not just because the two come together. It's because they're paying attention to each other, they're feeding off each other, and they're doing things to elevate each other. That's how I look at everything that I try to do, is like, I see everything that you're doing. I see the way that events are going down. I see the way that they're being viewed. I see the way that people are viewing it, the outside of our culture. And that's a big part of it too. I want people outside of the culture to not get a misconception of who we are and what we react to and what we respond to. Because if it was up to them, they would think that we're just going to be over here breaking to like EDM or techno or something, because they don't see music as like rhythm. They see it more as like tempos and energy. They think, well, since it's hype and it's fast, you should break to it, right? Because the dance is hype and it's fast. But that's a misunderstanding. And they're not wrong for having that misunderstanding. They're wrong for having that misunderstanding, but it's not wrong for them to have that misunderstanding. It's our responsibility to show them, no, the dance is this way because the music is this way. And the music is what creates these movements and this energy. It's not just the tempo. It's not just the fact that it's hype. There's a certain rhythm, there's a certain soul, there's a certain driving force to it that forces your body to want to break out that way. You know what I mean?
Man, that was a lot of really interesting stuff.
That was a lot. Sorry.
A lot of talking. Good. Because like it kind of touches on a few things that like through some of these talks that I've been having, like sort of that cyclical nature of creation and stuff. It's like you're your music or music is influencing the dancers, but then like the way that the dancers are moving and stuff is like in some ways influencing the music that you're making. And you know, people, one thing that I always heard too is like, that I thought was interesting that you kind of touched on, is like people always think of dances as like, you know, you're interpreting the music, like, yeah, you're interpreting what's going on. The music is like, you're representing that music. But then what you were saying too is like, you're making music to kind of like represent this time and this thing that's happening too, in some ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, and sometimes the other reason why it's good is because sometimes you create things and people are like, that's too much, or that's not working for me. There's a lot of value also in learning what you don't want. You know what I mean? Like I noticed one of the trends that's been happening in music is that it's been slowing down. And I think what happened is it got so fast and it got so much energy that at some point people were like, this is too fast. This is too much energy. Maybe it's good, but maybe not all the time. We need more balance. Mm-hmm. But they didn't learn that until there was too much fast stuff and too much energy. Yeah. You know what I mean? So sometimes that stuff has to happen too in order to turn things, you know, on its side. But the truth is, dude, I've been around for a long time. And 1 minute the music is fast, the next minute is slow, then it's fast, then it's slow, then it's fast. It changes. It literally changes like every 5 to maybe 10 years. Yeah. It flips. And right now we're just going back. We're going back to a place that I've already seen twice.
But it's like the same, but different.
Roll with it.
Because it's a different.
Meaning like at one point people are breaking the stuff that's slower, then they break the stuff that's faster, then they break the stuff that's slower, then they break stuff that's faster. 1 minute they're like, we're all about breaks, and the next minute they're like, we're all about hip hop, and the next minute they're like, we're all about this. It goes back and forth, and no one answer is right or wrong. Mm-hmm. It's the fluidity of it. It's the way the scene flows. Sometimes we're excited and we're hyped and we're busting out the seams, and other times we're a little more relaxed and calculated and we're trying to take our time. And right now is one of those times where we're trying to take our time. A few years ago, everyone was super hyped and excited, and you could hear it in the music and you could see it in the breaking. Yeah. But none of it's wrong. People want to point out or be quick to say like, well, this is bad or this is wrong, or that's too much of this or too much of that. And none of it's wrong. None of it's wrong. It's all your opinion. You dance to whatever you want to dance to. And we're going to all kind of dance collectively to how we feel at that moment. And that may not be your time and it may not be your moment, but it's not going to last forever, and it's not wrong. You know what I mean? So you just go with the flow. You know, I've made my share of really fast stuff. Some people hate how fast it is, but I challenge anyone to look at that era when I made it and be like, tell me everybody wasn't fucking breaking fast during this time. I'll show you fucking videos of people destroying shit hella fast, because that was the vibe. And but that's not who those dancers have to be forever, and it's not who I have to be forever making music either. Yeah
That's a really natural real human way of looking at it. Humans, like, we're not set in stone. We're always changing, always growing.
Well, how long is your life supposed to be? 6 months or years, decades? You know what I mean? It's like, if everything is so absolute within the moment, how the hell are you gonna how long are you gonna live? What are you gonna do next? And and what happens when everything changes? You know, like for instance, right? Like in music in general, when everyone's in the industry is doing cocaine, music's fast. When everyone in the industry is smoking weed, music is slow. That's just we're a big collection of human beings, and we all kind of like sway each other and move each other in certain ways, and we inspire each other in certain ways. And the truth is you don't have to look at it like that. You can look at it like, I made a bunch of fast beats for like 3 years. And at the end of 3 years, people are like, I don't want to hear that anymore. And I'm like, cool. I don't want to make them anymore. I'm tired of making fast beats. Not that I'll always be tired of them, but yeah, I want to break. I want to do something else. Let me make something different. And so I like going with the flow. I always think that if you live by a trend, you die with the trend. So I don't ever like subscribe to any one trend, but I will dip my toes in the pool because I want to try it out too. I want to see what that's like too. You know, like I never made shit that was like faster than 125 BPMs my whole life. And then I did for like a few years, and now I'm not anymore. But it was fun doing it, and I might do it again.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like it, take it. If you don't, leave it.
Black